only three members from the committee.
Okay. If we start, the only problem is that if we need to vote, we may not have the quorum to vote. So what do we do? Okay. I think Mr. Chairman, I think we can start with discussion.
You can start with the discussion. If there's no item that needs to be voted on, you can start with those and then hope that we'll have enough time for a quorum.
Okay. So let's start with the all of the required voting at one point or the other.
I'm sorry, Reverend John, you're coming in broken up.
Okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you a little better. Thank you.
Okay.
Ralph, hi. Chris said to tell you that he's having trouble signing in, but he's still trying, okay? Ralph?
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, please, can you help me just to run the meeting for me, please?
Ralph, you got the agenda there. I'm having problems with my computer here also.
Okay, so item number one,
Right.
I'm hoping someone is here. Review a new application from Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado, LLC, which will be located at 1037 Boulevard. They're applying for a wine, beer, and cider license. There'll be a full food menu, full kitchen run by a cook. They'll have recorded music. There's no outdoor permit for this location. Is there anybody here for Chipotle?
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Mia Wolf. I am the attorney representative. I also have Al here, who is the Bronx field leader, sorry, for Chipotle. So we're here to talk about this application. This application's pretty simple as far as applications goes. Again, it's a new wine and beer application for a space that fits 49 people. We're only going to have recorded ambient music. The hours of operation, right, are very simple. It's 10 a.m. service starts. Last call is at 9:30 for a 10 o'clock close. I believe that's correct. And then the ID policy is very standard as well. We have ID of every person. That's our security policy. Plus, we have 8 cameras on premises. So if there are any further questions, you can ask either myself or Al from Chipotle.
Ralph?
I'm sorry. What was that? I'm here. I'm hearing people breaking up. I'm sorry.
Are there any questions?
First of all, you're logged in twice, so you're doing an echo.
Yeah, I know. Hold on. There you go. Okay.
So what's happening here is you're having feedback. So
I got you. I'm gonna have to delete them in one. Bobby, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds a little better.
So is there anybody with a question to Chipotle?
I don't have a question, but I just want a point of reference if there's no questions from the committee or from the floor.
Go ahead, Ralph.
We're talking about Chipotle, which is a franchise across the country here on Southern Boulevard. We've been wanting a big market business, whether it was a retailer or I guess now a restaurant, to come. And if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Wolf, correct me if I'm wrong, or someone from every Chipotle sells beer. So what you're asking for is not an exception. It's just part of your standards. And I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that.
That's true.
Question. will you be hiring locally?
Yes.
Is your manager hiring family members or something
No.
to that effect?
So just a clarification, sir. So Chipotle is not a franchise model; it's 100% corporate. So just wanted to make that very clear.
I'm sorry for the. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. And your hours of operation?
So the hours,
I'm sorry, Mia.
yeah, sure. The hours of operation are 10:45 to 10 p.m. Alcohol service begins at 11 and it's going to have last call at 9:30.
9:30 is the last call?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go a little further than what our district manager went and ask, you guys are going to open up and stay open, or are you guys opening up and closing up within 24 hours?
All right. So just another point of reference during the pandemic, when everybody in New York City shut down, we did not shut down, not even one restaurant, and we opened 200 of them countrywide. So I don't think there's any risk of us shutting down.
But let me just, maybe if I gave a little better understanding of what I'm trying to say. We were supposed to have Red Lobster here, and Red Lobster was going to open up. It opened up, and 24 hours later, it closed up. Is there, should I say, a possibility of this happening?
0 to none.
0 to none.
I never heard any restaurant opening with all the money that we are investing in and opening a restaurant and close 24 hours or a month or a year later. Never heard that.
So if somebody wants to have a business, if somebody wants to work in your business, what are the procedures?
So it's pretty straightforward. They apply, to the location, whatever location they apply for. And in NYC, in New York City, it's a little different, the recruiting aspect of things. So we have a special department for, Fair Work Week and all that good stuff in the city. And then refers it to the GM of that location, the manager of that location. It comes into an interview like any other job application and hire them, train them, hire them.
And so Ralph, let me just ask, Ralph, how does this work with the way we look for jobs?
When they're about, what do you mean look for jobs? We're looking for employment?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can, as soon as they're ready to start hiring, they can contact us and we can pass it along to workforce. We can pass it along to the Hope program. We got some workforce developments locally, and we can hire locally if possible. If we only want qualified individuals, obviously, so we can do that.
Just understand that we have our philosophy down here is we rather have walk to work than people coming from Brooklyn or Manhattan to come and work. So understand that that's where why we're asking these kinds of questions. Is there anybody else out there that wants to ask a question?
Yeah, we have questions, Bobby. We have questions. Monique was first.
Okay. Monique?
Good evening. My name is Monique Mills.
Monique, you gotta raise it up because I can't hear you.
Oh, wow. It's my computer. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you a little better. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Mr. Alper, how do you pronounce your name? I'm sorry, I want to say it right. Mr. Alper?
Alper, yeah. You can call me just Al. That's fine.
Okay, Mr. Al. So, in the Hunts Point community, as a member there over 30 years, my main concern is that there's a major gap in the workforce when it comes to African Americans and the Hispanic population. Will you be diverse in the hiring process within this establishment?
All right, great question. Thank you for it. So in one of our values as a company is diversity and inclusion. So the answer is most definitely yes.
So because we are a high populated area with Hispanic speaking, if there is a need for there to be training to teach your employees to either speak Spanish, will you guys be willing to do that in order to keep the balance of employment equal so that everyone can work?
Absolutely. So I have 10 restaurants all in the Bronx, and I can tell you that I would say 75 to 85% of our entire crew is Spanish speaking or can speak Spanish as well. So in terms of training, um, we never had an issue about miscommunication or lack of communication with our new hires. So I'm pretty confident that we can accommodate your community needs when it comes to Spanish speaking crew or management or anything like that, or any other language.
Okay, yeah, because I want you to understand that what I'm saying is that the ones who cannot speak Spanish are the ones who are not getting the jobs.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
Yes,
So,
and we need to close that gap.
right. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. And so for that, I'll tell you that all of our managers in the restaurants speak in fluent English. So there's no problem in hiring or training or communicating with a non-Spanish speaking employees. I don't speak Spanish. I speak 5 other languages, but not Spanish. So there is zero problems with non-Spanish speakers.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We
Thank
don't
you,
have
Mike.
no more committee people asking questions. We got now just the floor, Chairman Crespo. The first one up is Elvis Santana.
Go ahead, Elvis.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. And this question was addressed earlier. This is new for me, and I wanted to ask Al regarding the hiring process locally. Are we expecting 100% of the first staff there to be strictly from our this part of the neighborhood or from the Bronx? And are we going to keep it at 100%? What is it usually? I suppose the expectations to this when you're saying you're going to hire locally.
So I can say for the entirety of New York City, I would say that 80 to 90% of all employees for Chipotle in New York City live in the Bronx. So let's start off with that. Even if they work in Manhattan or in Brooklyn, they're coming from the Bronx to those locations, and it's not the other way around. Um, so, and then we have, like I explained before, a very straightforward hiring process that complies with all New York City laws of Fair Work Week. And then they would apply to that specific location. So they could live, right in the neighborhood or right outside the neighborhood. It's, we don't discriminate when it comes to where you live or where you want to work. So I'm pretty confident that if you're living in the area, you will, and you want to work at that location, that's not a problem. Or if you live in a next door neighborhood and you want to work at that location, I don't think that it's going to be a problem either. It's all about the convenience of our crew, if they can get there comfortably. Otherwise, they will apply. We have enough location around the city that they could basically apply to whichever more comfortable for them.
Got it. And then earlier you said diversity and inclusion, which is great. I know that I think Chipotle probably recently got that kind of chief in April this year. I haven't heard much about the outrolling of that within the workforce. We're trying to make sure that everyone is included because it is part of our diversity, inclusion, and equity process. But how is it going to be for new workers at this specific branch? How is it rolled out? I'm just curious.
So we have a lot of materials on that subject. Of course, we have zero tolerance for any kind of racism and stuff like that. And we are encouraging our all management on all levels. We're encouraging diversity in their hiring, diversity in their promoting, diversity in every aspect of that business. So I'm pretty, like I said, every store I have happens to be in the Bronx, and I'm familiar with, the borough. So I mean, I don't think it will be, and I invite you guys to visit our locations throughout the Bronx if you have a chance to, and really see who work for us, who's our managers, and I think you'll be very pleased to know that they're going to be your neighbors.
Thank you. And that's all for me, Ralph.
All right, thank you, Elvis. We got Larry. Larry, before I just want to ask one quick question, Mr. Al. When is your timeline? When are you opening?
So I'm pretty sure right now they pushed it into May of next year, so we have some time.
I know we've been since September. Every month you've been canceling because you wasn't sure, but you did provide us with the lease. I just wanted to know more or less when you was going to open.
It's not that we're not sure. You have to understand that we have to do a whole construction. We
Right.
have to get, New York City, Con Edison, FDNY. So all those, usually that is not any of it in our hands. The only thing we can control is the actual construction.
Right. This was, I think, what the Chairman Crespo was alluding to, as far as like going through this process and then just opening up just to close.
No, that's not good. I can reassure you that's
Like,
not
so just my office is available to you for assistance if you need assistance with any of these city agencies. I'll be more than happy to see what we can do on our part for you. Okay.
definitely, and I'll definitely pass that along. Thank you so much.
No problem. Larry has his hand raised. Larry.
Yeah, Al, I'd like to tell you that district manager asked you most of the question I was going to ask you, but 1030 Sutton Boulevard, is that next to the fitness center on Sutton Boulevard? What's your cross street? I'm trying to figure that out. I looked up on your website.
Yeah, they're right on the same. They're like 2 storefronts down from Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Okay, that answered my question. I'm trying to figure out where it was at. Okay, that's it, Al. Good luck.
The
Thank you.
streets are Westchester Ave and Aldous Street.
Aldous, okay. Thank you.
Is there any other
I
questions?
don't see no more questions, Mr. Chair. No one else has their hand raised. I don't know if the 4-1 has any input with this.
Does the 4-1 have any concerns?
Anita Reyes has a question in the chat. What are Chipotle's company's community investment? For the New York City Department of Health, are there any programs with Chipotle for community investment, health related?
So actually, one of our benefits for whoever works for us, if I understand the question correctly, I'm not sure I understand, but I'll try to answer what I do understand. One of our benefits is wellness and fitness, and we give our employees basically almost free fitness. We have a lot of industry leading benefits, and this is definitely one of them. As well as grass fed cattle that we use for our meat, and we're very health and wellness conscious company. I don't know if I answered.
Anita, I'm not sure if that's. Thank you.
Sure. So yeah, I was interested in knowing the benefits that are for the community, but also for the employees. So I was wondering if there's like any corporate community investments that you do kind of to give back to the community.
Right. So let's start with the last part with the employees. So every employee that works for us gets like I said, industry leading benefits. And for the community, we do have, like soup kitchens that we donate food. For example, I'll give you an example. Before we open, we have to train the crew, and we not to waste a lot of food. So we partner up with, homeless shelters and soup kitchens. And we just give away a ton of food in those couple weeks prior opening, for just one example.
Mr. Chairman, this is Reverend John.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just wanted a little bit more clarification on the job opportunities for the community. I remember a couple of years ago when we had Amazon came before the community board, and it promised us that they were going to hire people from the community. And as soon as they got set up and established, they turned around and told us that they're corporate, entity, and that they are not bound to hire people from the local community. I'm wondering what will make this particular business different from Amazon. Once they come in and get established, they can say the same thing, that their workers are coming from the Bronx. We are not concerned about workers coming from the Bronx, but we are concerned about workers coming from our local community. So I'm not sure if the company is willing to make some solid commitment to actually hiring people from this community.
Well, let me just first start before if Al wants to answer it, or the young lady wants to answer it. I understand your question, and I do understand the fact of that. We feel a certain way about Prime, or Amazon as we call it. But they did start off with hiring hiring a few people from our community. Unfortunately, we can't ask them to keep people if they're not functioning the right way, or if there's a problem with their work habits. So I just want it on the record that we need to understand that we will ask, and I'm sure that Al will now answer it, the question on this issue.
Yeah, sure. So, again, if people from the community, since it's going to be close and convenient for them to come to work, they're going to be the first ones to get hired, obviously. However, we cannot discriminate from a neighborhood next door. If they want to come to work, we're not going to say, no, we're going to, hire only in those, 5 blocks. But I can assure you that once they apply and they get hired, we have no problem hiring from that community, or community next door, or we're not discriminating geographical areas, or anything of that sort. So I'm pretty confident that we will hire them if they're willing to apply. It's up to them. Like, we are desperate for people. We always looking for talent, always. And if they live close by, it's good for them and it's good for us.
Thank you. Reverend, is that sufficient?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to ask a question? Not hearing.
I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead,
Bobby, I'd like to ask a question. My
ahead.
question is, Al, is that based on this is a food corporation that you run, would your new employees get special training on how to handle the food, everything? You gonna teach that to them? Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
We put very big emphasis on food safety, physical safety, of course, and food safety. And they'll get trained. It's one of our pillars of our business is training. This is how we can grow like we have been growing in the last few years.
Okay. Do they need a special permit, Al, from the New York City Department of Health for the food training, or that's something
Yeah,
you guys
so
provide?
we help them get all that New York food handlers and stuff like that. It's just a requirement, and it's super easy to get. I think now it's even online. You don't have to physically go anymore.
Oh, great.
But yeah,
Great
it's all part of the process, and I mean, it's no different than any other location in the city.
All right. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
Al, I just wanted to ask one question before I ask again anybody else that has any questions. You said you keep mentioning you have 10 in the Bronx. Are you going to be the owner of this particular establishment?
So, like I said, Chipotle is 100% corporate. So I'm not the owner, and nobody is the owner. It's a 100% corporation led company, and I will be the affiliate. I will be the district manager for that location. Most probably, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're
Is
welcome.
there anybody else that has a question out there?
Not a question. I just wanted to say that Chipotle would be a nice addition to the food in the community. It gives us more variety. So, welcome. Please do the right thing. We are watching.
Thank you, Monica. Can I take that as a motion for you for acceptance of the application?
Bobby, there's no quorum.
There's no quorum?
There's no quorum. We don't have quorum. We have 3 members. Cliff is on, Reverend John, and Maggie. That's it. Evelyn is not on, Barbara's not on, and Altagracia is not on. So I got 3 executive committee members here, and I got 2 executive officers. So I don't know how you want to handle this going forward. Also, as Mr. Al mentioned, this ain't going up until May. I'm happy that they came early. So he's getting all his ducks in order, which is a good thing. But I don't know what direction the board wants to go in now.
How many executive committee members you have? Ralph?
It's 3. There's you, Larry, and Reverend John. And then you and Larry are executive officers. Oh, Evelyn just jumped on. So we got quorum. So
Evelyn, you on?
Evelyn Arauz is here. I see her. She's on mute, but she's here. Hi, Evelyn.
Yes, I see her name. Okay. All right. So now
you have quorum. Great. So I think it was Monique.
Monique, can I have the motion on this particular location?
Actually, Cliff in the. I'm sorry, Monique.
Say something?
Yes, Monique. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just would like to make a motion to accept the Chipotle Mexican Grill application for the wine and beer.
Now we need a second. And Cliff.
I second it.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
So now we got to go into a discussion. In theory, and technically, we got to go into a discussion now. And
is there a discussion on this particular?
And this is now just for the committee members at this moment.
Is there discussion on this particular application?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Not hearing any. I then ask for a vote of the committee members. Evelyn Arauz. Yes or no?
Evelyn, you're on mute if you can hear us.
Yes.
Thank you,
Okay,
Evelyn.
thank you. Let me see who else I got here. Reverend John.
Yes.
Okay. Monique.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Monique made the motion. So
yeah, okay, and Cliff seconded. Okay, so it carried unanimously.
Yes.
I
say yes.
Thank you.
Carrie, this is not your committee, Carrie. Thank you, though.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't be sorry. It's okay. Thank you, Carrie.
It carried unanimously, so, Mr. Albert,
The
you'll
22nd.
get, you'll be getting a notice from the board as to when we're having the full board meeting, which will be
The 22nd.
Wednesday, the 22nd at 6 p.m.
Wednesday, the 22nd at 6 p.m. You'll get a notice from someone from the staff for you to be on. So like that, in case there are any other board members that wish to ask any other questions that we have not asked. But at this time, we are going to approve the application, but it's up to the board to approve the entire, the body of the whole will have to approve the entire application.
Well, we just would like to say thank you for your time. Thank for everyone's support here.
Thank you very much, Mia.
Ms. Wolf or Mr. Al, do you guys have any questions now? Any concerns?
I do not.
Okay, you'll get a link from the office for to join us on the 22nd then, okay? If anything comes up, please let us know.
Sure. The 22nd of this month, correct?
Yes, sir, the 22nd, Wednesday.
I'm gonna be away. I'm not gonna be around.
Well,
I'm leaving on the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a remote meeting. It's similar to this.
It'll be a remote meeting. But Mia could, if you want Mia to
yeah. I mean, you can definitely send it to me, and I'll do my best to be on it.
Yeah, the applicant needs to be on.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, the state liquor authority might not recognize a power of attorney. They want the actual applicant. And since you guys are a corporation, you know, there could be a couple of guys, you know, representing the corporation, but it cannot be a power of attorney. It has to be the actual applicant. So, okay.
We'll make sure to have someone there. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy holiday, guys.
Yes.
Have a good evening.
You
Happy
all.
holiday, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
You see. We're going now to item number 2, which is a renewal application of Casa Zola, trade name Noche de Palenques, located at 561 Southern Boulevard, Bronx, New York, 10459. They're applying for a full license. They will have a jukebox and disco jockey. There is no outside, there's no outdoor permit for the location. Are they licensed up already, Ralph?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So this went to the full board last month, and there was not enough information for Madam First Vice Chair to proceed with it, and she sent this back to the committee.
What was the vote? What was the vote at the last? Was it unanimous?
The vote at the committee last month was to deny the renewal application.
To deny it.
To deny it because there was issues with the police department, their cameras and their contract with a security company. At the full board meeting, Sergeant Guglielmo, who's still here, notified the board at that time that all the cameras were in place, all working, and he had a valid, up-to-date security contract. So the issues with NYPD were resolved. And then Madam First Vice Chair was just inquiring on whatever concerns the committee had. And Monique brought up one or two of the concerns. And Madam First Vice Chair at the time felt that this needed to go back to this committee just to review everything because there was new information regarding what the police department has stated. So that's where we at now. I don't know if the owner's on.
Is the owner on? Is there somebody from 561 on? Going a second time, is there anybody from 561 going on? Third time. Not hearing none. we will we will take a vote whether to deny this license due to the fact of non-representation to the board. Is there anybody willing to do the nomination? Or the motion, I mean.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I move a motion to table the application?
Can you what?
Move a motion to table the application.
We've already, from what I understand, we tabled it once already, if I'm correct.
We didn't table it. It was sent back to this
Sent
committee.
back. Okay,
So I don't,
all right.
To table or postpone an item on the agenda, you don't need a vote. The committee chair, the chairman can execute that. You don't need a committee vote to table an item and push it.
All right, so Reverend John,
I need a point of clarity. I'm sorry. A postponement is to put it back on the agenda for, a timetable, a schedule.
Right.
Table the matter. If you tabling it, it becomes moot. It does not, there's no timetable in place, no timeline. So if you postpone it, we got to postpone it for a month, 2 months or something. If you table an item, the item is now is tabled and it's not a priority and it gets back on the agenda when it gets back on the agenda. So
when does their license up? What date?
Their license is up. It was up, I think, in November, Mr. Chair. I'll double check right now.
Okay. If it was already up in November, is Sergeant Guglielmo on?
Answer, Cola.
How you doing, Bobby?
Hey, Sarge, how you feeling?
Hey, how you doing? First and foremost, I want to say hello to everybody. Also, I'd like to welcome Captain Cruz, our executive officer. He's on the phone call tonight. It's his first time being on the franchise license board meeting call. So we had scheduled an appointment with them, and we went there, did the inspection. Like I said, we had no issues with them. They had their valid security license. The gentleman had updated their cameras, and that was pretty much it. So.
But however, at the last committee meeting, am I correct that they, and Ralph can clear it for me, did the committee voted to turn it down? Yes or no?
At the committee, Correct. It was voted to deny.
To deny. And since then, they've complied with what they needed to comply with.
Correct.
Okay. And now they're not here today.
Correct. I'm on the State Liquor Authority website, and it was renewed until November 30th of 2023.
Renewed?
It was renewed, yep.
How?
So, Ralph, did they just circumvent us? And
I mean, I don't know what to say. I know we're talking about the State Liquor Authority. I want to kindly remind everyone that, we play an advisory role. The State Liquor Authority has, in the past, always worked with community boards. I know that we can still submit if we're going to deny, like if it's a vote at the full board, we can still submit it and go on record. I don't know, if that's going to change any. I cannot speak. I don't know what the State Liquor Authority. Recently, they've been operating on these codes and administrative codes from the 1930s, and sometimes even their hands are tied. I'm not going to get into specifics, but that's just where we at with that. I don't know what more. I don't know what I can say. I cannot speak on behalf of the State Liquor Authority. I don't know why. I can inquire. Clearly, I will inquire on how it was renewed if we took a vote to deny it. So, but the vote to deny, as Chairman Crespo alluded to, was because of the issues with the cameras and with the security, which they corrected. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sergeant Guglielmo.
No, that information was correct. They had. I was very confusing for me because I had spoken to the owner and the manager, and they said that they were both going to be on this call tonight. But yeah, they passed the inspection, so we had no issues with them.
me just check something. Yeah, I don't see anybody here except for the telephone numbers. And I think you're 90, right, Sarge? Your last two numbers?
Yes, the
Yeah,
914.
9990, that's me.
Yes.
Okay. And so who's 13 and 24?
Let me just hold on a second. That might be my captain. Let me just check with Captain Cruz. What's the last two digits?
13 and 24.
So 24 is the Captain Cruz.
Okay.
He's here with me.
All right. And 13 is nobody knows. All right. I will, I'm really shocked that this happening, that the State Liquor Authority went ahead and gave them their license. This is the second time that they have done this without conferring with the board. And I know that we serve as an advisory arm, Ralph, but somewhere along the way, something has to give on this. They cannot continue just because we didn't answer or somebody just decided to do it. So I would ask that tomorrow, if possible, all right?
Is that person being muted?
It's Barbara that just got on. Barbara, I'm going to have to mute you. If you want to speak, you got to do *6. Okay?
Okay, Ralph.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Barbara. I'm gonna ask you, Ralph, to do me a favor and if possible tomorrow or by maybe Friday, if possible, contact State Liquor Authority and ask for a meeting with the chair again, because we need some clarification on this. Not just on this license, but on the Diamond, as well as any other license that come before us. And I think that we need to really get back on the horse again and ride it the way we're supposed to ride it, because this is getting out of hand. The State Liquor Authority, I understand that they have a deadline, but they should have been notifying us or talking to us and letting us know if there was an issue of time. They should have been telling us that there was an issue of time, so like that we could have then done something about it. To be told on the night of the meeting, it's not, and we're not being told. It's just that you told it to us because you checked through the computer. I think that is totally wrong. That is totally wrong. And I think that we need to bring in some of our state elected officials on this thing, and our councilmen, because it's just getting out of hand, totally out of hand. And this is the second license that I'll repeat it again. This is the second license they do this to us. And I'm not saying that the place are running illegally or doing anything illegal, but it helps for us to meet with them and let them know this is what we're expecting of you, if anything. So if possible, Ralph, can you do that for us tomorrow or something?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the elected officials that we've been working with, and ask them to set up the meeting with the State Liquor Authority.
Good.
Okay. So none of this coming from our local state assembly and local state senators.
Okay.
And then we could take it from there.
Yeah.
But yes, that would be the best. I will certainly do that tomorrow.
Thanks a million, Ralph. So that being the case, I guess there's no sense in deliberating anymore on item number 2, unless somebody has some questions out there.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is Reverend John.
Yes, John.
Yes, I want to thank you for the step that you have taken. Also, I would like to reemphasize that this is like an affront on the community. We have to find a way to, to bring this to an end. Otherwise, there will be no need for the committee and the community board to be deliberating on issues affecting licensing when the state liquor authority will just go on their own and take actions without consideration for the decisions of the community district board. And it's just a waste of time for us to be deliberating and working on these issues. And then at the end of the day, they will just do whatever they want to do, not caring about, the input from the community. So if they are not going to take our job serious, then we may as well tell them, they should go ahead and issue license to whoever they want to issue to. There's no need for anybody to come before the committee or before the board if the liquor authority will not take into consideration the decisions of the community board. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Reverend John. Anybody else?
Yeah, Bobby, I'd like to say something. I think the store owners that are requesting liquor permits has figured out how to beat us to the punch. So when they get approval, they go directly to a liquor authority. And the problems I have with the liquor authority, if they don't have no information from the community board, they should let us know that they have a request for these liquor owners to get permission to start selling the liquor in their restaurants, their bars, or whatever. They should reach out to say, for instance, our community board too, and let them know we got this person saying that they have everything that needed to be permitted when the application towards us, and we want to know your input on this because we have nothing from you up to date on what's going on. But they don't do that. So I think the owners have figured out a way to beat us to the punch. And I agree with Pastor John. What the hell we got a FPL for if we're not part of the whole situation?
Well, we have the FOP because of the fact of, we started it out because of the adult entertainment, and we've kept it going, and it's been a functioning committee. The problem is that now we're being told by state liquor authority that if there's no police actions or no police notifications, then there's nothing for them to listen to. And I'm having problems with that because I don't get paid for this, and none of us get paid for this, except those that are on city and state payroll right now, and those that are in interested parties. and we need to figure out a way to let them know this is not what we're about. And just because they put up a license or a request for license or renewal for license, and there are issues, even though they were satisfied prior to this meeting. And so there is a problem with that. There's a timeline problem with this issue. And especially in that area. So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I agree with Reverend John, and I think that we need to continue and like I said, bring in the elected officials and see what we can do with that. Because honestly, this cannot continue the way it's going. But that's for sure. We can't continue it going the way it's going, and we have to figure a resolution to this problem. Okay, Larry?
Okay.
No, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what Reverend John is saying. We just need to figure out a way that we're going to have to get a little smarter than what we have. I thought that because of last meeting, there would have been notification to the state liquor authority that we were going to put them back on this month, but it appears that there was no communication to the State Liquor Authority on that issue.
No, I sent them an email. I made them aware of exactly what was going on, that it got sent back to the committee, and that we're going to be voting on it on December. You know.
Okay,
Just
so you have that on your you have that email, right?
yeah.
Okay, so then when we meet with the elected officials, we'll move on that issue, because that's the only thing that we could stand on, that we have notified them, and that we want our due respect. All right.
Bobby, wait a minute, wait. I have a problem with that. Is this the Mexican restaurant next to Patone?
Across the street, I think.
Yeah. But
There's
they was in violation all during the COVID that we had. Sometimes they wasn't supposed to be open. They was open all hours that they want to be open. And I mean, we just constantly let people get away with stuff. We need to voice our opinion to the state authority, let them know that we don't need neighbors like this. We don't need restaurants like this in our
Let me
community.
just
They have to abide by the law like everybody else.
The answer the State Liquor Authority is going to say is, because we've given them 1292 Westchester, we've given them 673 Hunts Point Avenue, where there's dozens and dozens of 911 calls, 311 calls, right, for these locations. They need from the police department was known as a nuisance and abatement. That is the only way. They don't care how many calls were made, unless the police department themselves issue the nuisance and abatement to lock down an establishment. They're going to renew the license. That's the only way that the board can say, or if there's something called availing, which the licensee is not present at the establishment. Those are the two ways they will halt a renewal from happening. So that's where we at with this. I just wanted to point it, because these are the answers that I've gotten back from the State Liquor Authority. The executive commissioner, the deputy executive director we've met with, and he explained this to me, that they're operating on administrative codes from the 1930s, right after the whole prohibition and depression era. That's what the codes they're operating on, almost 90-year-old laws that need to be changed. And that's why I keep saying we need help from our state elected officials, not the city, the state elected officials, to revisit the codes for the State Liquor Authority, and to revise them as such. I will reach back out to them, the State Liquor Authority, and I'll reach out to the state elected officials. We now have 3 examples of that we are against a renewal, and these are the reasons, and the State Liquor Authority still renewed the application. 1292 Westchester, 673 Hunts Point, and 561 Southern Boulevard. Those are the 3 that we've done this year. Post-pandemic, mind you, Larry mentioned it, right? During the pandemic, when everything was shut down, these guys are still open. They don't consider any of that unless the police department does a nuisance and abatement order, which closes them down, and then they send the paperwork to the State Liquor Authority. Then that's when the board has some teeth. Other than that, it's going to be a very difficult climb to get a renewal denied. And
So-
Mr. Chair, we
Yeah.
have Elvis Santana has his hand up. I didn't.
Thanks, Ralph. It was just something that the chairman mentioned earlier regarding the FLP. I'm not familiar with the acronyms, and I just wanted to ask for the
Franchise License and Permit Committee.
Say that one more time.
Franchise License and Permit Committee. This committee.
That's exactly the header of our thing. Just didn't want to confuse anything.
Yeah, we don't just do liquor license on this committee. Anybody seeking a permit for New York City, that like through consumer affairs, through other city agencies, this is what this committee is for. It's not just liquor licenses from the state liquor authorities. Is anything that comes up with consumer affairs, people seeking permits. But that's what it is. I will follow up with the state liquor authority, and I'll follow up with our, I think it's 8 or 9 local elected officials.
First, Ralph, first work with the state electeds, and then we'll bring in the then we'll bring in the state liquor authority after that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find the email that he actually worded exactly what I was just saying now.
Right.
So Ralph, just to piggyback, do you mind if I cut in real quick? Surgically,
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
again.
Sergeant. Go ahead.
So just to explain, because I'm getting text messages now as we speak, just to explain, just to further explain what the district manager was just saying. He's correct as far as nuisance abatement. We have gone that route. I have currently, Captain Masia and myself we have 4 open cases on different locations. I can't really go into the details now because they're, like I said, they are ongoing investigations. But one of the prerequisites is there has to be some type of crime at the location and multiple 311 calls for the location. That's how we start. In other words, we can't just decide as the NYPD that, okay, 1000 Southern Boulevard, we don't like that place, so we're going to start a nuisance abatement on it. It's kind of like we need a paper trail and we need evidence. So we go by, first and foremost, the captain and I review the different locations for crime. Was there a robbery at the area? Was there a dispute? Was there a fight? Was there shots fired? Was there a homicide at the location? Then we go into the 311 calls. So that's how we do it as per the NYPD. And also we take recommendations from the district manager, Ralph Acevedo, from the community board president, Bobby Crespo, and of course other members of the community. They call us to say, hey, this place is operating. So it's not just as cut and dry as, yes, like not just in Palenque, they were operating during the pandemic. We went there. I wrote the requisite summonses that we had to write. But we addressed the condition, and then after that, there weren't any other issues at the location. So that's how we go about it. I just wanted to clear it up for everybody else.
Thank you,
Sergeant. I like to ask a question to Sergeant G.
Okay.
So let Sergeant G. Sorry to put you under the spotlight, but 658 Dawson
Lawrence,
Street.
Lawrence, this is why I get paid the big bucks, Lawrence. This is how I get
paid. 658 Dawson had a killing recently. How come this wasn't applied to? You have a killing in your place of business, or we can't do nothing about that?
Oh, no, 100%. So like I said, there are a couple of places. You're talking about the RMM Lounge?
Yes.
Okay, so there is an active open investigation there. We did have a homicide there. It was a very tragic situation. But there is an active investigation, and that is one of the places that we are actually actively pursuing. I can't really go into the details about it, but we definitely have an active investigation going there.
Thank you.
So they can't be shut down at all until the investigation has been completely investigated.
So here's the deal, Larry. At the end of the day, this is still America. Everybody's people have rights, and they're. So at the end of the day, I would love to. I mean, it was actually under Captain Shuvlin or Inspector Shuvlin now, but I mean, we would have loved to have gone in there and just had them close the doors. But unfortunately, we have to go through there's a lot of different interagencies involved, and District Manager Acevedo can tell you, it's not just the NYPD, it's State Liquor Authority. It's not just about going there and shutting them down. We have to do this legally. I have to get the city lawyers involved, the State Liquor Authority. So it's in the process. We're actively investigating. Like I said, I can't go into the details. But 100%. Okay. Listen, a homicide is our number one. I mean, when there's a homicide at a bar, restaurant, or a club, that's our number one priority. So we are actively investigating it, and we're working on shutting them down.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarge.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Ruben John once again.
Yes, sir.
I think from what Mr. Robinson had said, some of the business establishments have found a way to get around and get their licenses renewed even with disapproval from the community board. But it is important also for us to work closely with the police precinct, because like this particular business establishment at 561 Southern Boulevard, they felt that because the police precinct had given them the no objection, they felt that that was enough for them to go and renew their license. So, you know, the police precinct has to work closely with the community board before issuing them such a clearance, because once that clearance is issued to them, they can just run with it, even without coming back before the community board to address whatever issues the community may have had. So it's important that we work together closely, knowing that they are exploiting these loopholes. You know, once they know that there's a loophole, we can be rest assured that others are going to take advantage of it. So it becomes more important for us to work closely together. Thank you.
You're right. You're right on that, Reverend John, and that is why I need to have this meeting with the elected officials, and then from there, uh, have them work something out with the state liquor authority to meet with them, and maybe it may be part of the discussion has to be that there needs to be new introduction of law on the on the state uh, with what Ralph had mentioned, with a 90-year-old law that back then was okay, but now in these days it's not a suitable law, and it's something that we may need to look at. So yeah, we'll be working. We'll work on that and make sure that it's handled the right way. Is there anybody else that wants to be part of this discussion? If not, I will go now to item number 3.
I just wanna I'm gonna put in the chat so everyone can see exactly what the state liquor authority made reference to regarding renewals and what they need exactly. Like, they can't just go by the community board denying a renewal. I'm just gonna leave that in the chat, and I can email it to everyone.
All right. We're now going to go to item number 3, which is the La Finca Bar and Grill located at 960 East on 65th Street is applying for a New Year's Eve all-night event license. Reverend John, you got anything to say on this? Reverend John?
Yes.
Do you have anything to say on this particular item?
I think they have to apply to the police precinct, and once the police precinct approves it, it's okay with us. So have they applied because they were supposed to go before the police precinct and apply?
Did Sergeant Cook or Sokola, either one of you, do you guys know if they came before you guys? Did they come to talk to you guys?
Bobby, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I personally haven't heard from La Finca. We've had a few other bars and clubs in the area that have approached us about extending the hours. So after discussing it with our new CEO, with Captain Masia, and also with the borough and downtown, at this time we are denying any all-night applications, and here's why. Number one, we're very short-staffed right now. The Omicron is a legit thing. I mean, people are getting sick again, unfortunately. Number two, we just don't feel in this environment now, especially with COVID coming back, people getting sick again, that we should have these bars and clubs open all night. So that's where we're at right now, as far as keeping these extended hours on New Year's Eve. It's not really a normal time being right. It's not a normal time right now for us.
Crespo?
Yeah.
I totally agree with him. I totally agree with Captain Schuler. We do not need to have no all-night thing right now. We're going through the pandemic still, and we do not need to allow that. Just in my community center, they tell us 30 people, 37 people is allowed if you want to do an event, and it's only till 12 o'clock. How can we allow something doing all of this stuff that's going on to be all night? Not even the police can okay that. That should be us making a decision right there that we should not allow something like that.
Thank you, Bob.
We put in everybody in a position. We put in the police in a position. You know how many rounds they're gonna have to do the 31st? That's crazy.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Anybody else got anything to say?
I do, Bobby.
It's obvious. I just want to say I agree, considering that I don't think even part of our district or part of our Bronx are more vaccinated than other parts of New York City, where it's going to make us even more vulnerable towards the spread. So I agree completely. I agree to the fact of data that our community alone is more vulnerable towards the virus, data specifically. Because if it was some other day, like some other year without the pandemic, I would consider the excuse of because we're short staffed in terms of at least I wouldn't consider that as an applicable kind of statement. But because the virus is real and our community is very vulnerable because of the trust of the vaccine, then I'd say yes, absolutely right.
Thank you.
Officer Ficola with her hand raised.
Officer Sokola? Officer Sokola?
Hi, everyone. Hi,
hi.
everyone. How's everybody doing?
Not as good as you, but it's not your fault.
I'm on vacation, but I think this is such an important meeting for us to log on. So I'm logging on while on vacation. So I have to address one thing. In regards to 561 getting the renewal, I can't hear. I think Barbara needs to mute herself.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I'll just turn it as low.
Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. In regards to 561 Southern Boulevard, just know that we don't make any decisions and make any recommendation to the liquor license to the SLA without coming to the board first. So I don't want, this committee to feel that we go and make decisions without sitting down and talking to the board first. For us, that's very important to continue having that type of relationship and working together. That's what makes us a lot different from other commands and other community boards is the way we work together. This is a partnership. That's first. Second, Sergeant Guglielmo doesn't know because we've been so busy with events and things like that, but I do have both applications for La Parrilla Azteca and from La Finca. They were mailed to me. It's in my office, hanging on my board, and it was going to be one of the things that I give to him as soon as I come back from vacation. So just know I have them. They did send letters, but as he explained, is if the CO says no, especially because we have no manpower and because of the rise of COVID and how fast it's spreading right now with the new I guess the new name, the Omicron, we prefer not to approve anything, and I hope the board supports us with that decision.
Yeah, we will. We definitely well, I cannot say what this committee is going to do, but I'm sure that the committee will be reviewing this and taking your recommendations wholeheartedly into effect. Is there anybody from the board that wants to say anything else?
I have something I want to say, Bobby. With Christmas coming up, New Year's coming up, and these establishments get denied to have all day, all night parties or celebrations, and they go forward with it anyway without the proper approval. What's going to happen to them? How can we control that?
PD will be out. PD will be out on normal patrol. Any place that is open after 4 o'clock, it's my understanding that PD will go in and tell them that they have to shut down.
Yeah,
If
Larry,
they
just
refuse to,
not to cut you off, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, so the NCOs, we're going to formulate a plan with the captain. I already sat down with him and spoke to him. We will have enforcement that night. We actually have it's kind of like a roving detail, and that's all they're going to be doing that night. Is they're going to be going around and making sure the bars and clubs, first of all, that there's no trouble in any of these hot spots, and also number two, that they abide by the New York State Liquor Authority hours that night without the extension.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
anybody else got a question? Not
I
here.
do.
Go
I
ahead.
do.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know, what is the time that they're supposed to be closing? 4 a.m.?
The normal liquor hours is 4 a.m. Yeah. Some places have special hours that we've given them, only up to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Then I don't think that there's anybody with 4 o'clock out there. But I don't know what this committee would do. If they wish to stay open till 4 o'clock, then we can give them the extension till 4 o'clock, but they have to be closed by 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I think 4 o'clock is fair.
Thank you. Anybody else? Monique?
No, I just said I think 4 o'clock is fair. That's dope.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Not hearing anything else, I will take a motion to
Adjourn?
yeah.
That's what you want the motion for, to adjourn?
Yeah, he
No,
sounded like
no.
he couldn't figure out which motion he was looking for.
I can't adjourn it yet until we deal with this last item. Take a motion to deny the request from La Finca and the other locations that have applied, and let the police department handle those situations on that side.
I make a motion to deny all applications for extended hours on New Year's Eve.
Yep. Is there anybody, so Monique already made the motion. Anybody seconding?
Yeah, me, Clifford. Deny.
Okay, Cliff. So, let me see, let me go back up here. All right. Evelyn, how do you vote? Evelyn?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
can you ask the other way?
Okay. Yeah, I deny. I vote to deny.
Attention.
Thank you. Barbara, do you vote to deny? Barbara? Barbara. All right, I'll come back to her. Pastor John.
Ralph has to unmute her. She doesn't know how.
Okay.
*6. She got it *6. And I sent her the request. *6.
While she's doing that, Pastor John.
Yes. I vote yes to deny, yes.
Monique Mins.
I deny it.
Okay, and Clifford, you denied also, right?
Yes, deny.
Okay. All right, that being the case, Barbara, are you on? Barbara?
Mr. Chairman, she was the first one that objected to the permit. So that should be a yes vote.
Okay, so based on the chairman's statement, it is going to carry unanimously that we'll let the 4-1 visit all liquor establishments and let them know that they must be closed by 4 o'clock. Is that correct? Reverend John?
Yes, some of them have stipulation to close before 4. So they should close at the
Well,
Um,
what we're doing is going to give them up to 4 o'clock, which is what the state allows at this time. So we could give them up to 4 o'clock, but then after that, they gotta be closed. There's no two ways about it.
is that what the police precinct is asking for, or do they want them to close at the normal business closing time?
I haven't asked the police department. I'm just recommending that that's what we should do.
Okay.
Okay. That being the case, is there anything else, Ralph?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Not hearing anything else. Is there any new business? Any old business?
Yes, this Reverend John.
Yes, Reverend.
Mr. Rath, I did mention to you last time about the New York State Restaurant Resilient Program, which is to support restaurants all over the state by providing free meals that is being paid by the state. So I'm not sure how many restaurants in our community are participating in the program, but I know that not many of them within the district have reached out to some of the food pantries in the community. So I would like us to see what we can do to reach out to the restaurants that are in our community for them to participate in the program, because the state is paying them, I think, close to $36 a plate of food for them to be able to stay in business. And there's some restaurants that are able to prepare up to 2,000 meals a week, some 3,000 meals a week, some even close to 5,000 meals a week. And this is revenue that will really help the restaurants in our community if they're able to get into the program, even if it is just a couple of them that are able to get in. It's something that will really benefit us in the community. So I know I did send the link, but if there is if you need me to resend the link, I can resend the link to you for us to find a way to pass it across to the restaurants and ask them to apply and see how they can also participate in the program.
Reverend John, you told me to reach out to Seis Vecinos and El Valle, which I did. I forwarded them the link. They said they'll look into it. I did not follow up. I don't know if they had interest in it. So
Okay. Thank
those are the two restaurants you told me to reach out to.
Thank you.
Ralph, let's try to see if we could at least reach out to some of the other restaurants that are on Southern Boulevard, and maybe we can get some participation from them at the same time. Okay.
Bobby, before you close, I don't think you just have to reach out to those two restaurants. We go by zip codes that consist of Community Board 2. We have a lot of restaurants. They might not even know about this program.
That's what I just finished saying.
No, but you talked
That's what I
about
just finished saying, Larry.
Okay, I got you.
No, Ralph mentioned two restaurants because I remember the discussion, and I remember Reverend John mentioning those two places. And Ralph proceeded with as requested. But now I'm asking that he should reach out to the other restaurants and see if there's anyone that's willing to participate in those other establishments. And then this way we have more places to get us the food that we need.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think many of them really don't understand what the program is about. So if they need help, Mr. Rath, you can give them my phone number. It's something that a lot of restaurants in Manhattan have really, so many of them are on the program, and we need to get our people to also bring that money home. It's a lot of money. They can bill up to $500,000 within 3-4 months.
Well, Ralph will follow up with what we requested and see what the outcome is from there. All right? Is there any announcements? Any more announcements? Not hearing any, I will take a motion.
Yes. December, me, Maggie. The precinct's toy drive will be December 21st at 4 o'clock at the precinct.
December
21st. Am I correct? Sokola's on? Is Sokola on?
Yeah, it's the 21st.
Okay.
What time?
I believe it's 4 o'clock, right?
You're correct, Maggie.
Okay.
Okay, 4
Thank
p.m.
you. That's my announcement.
Thank you. 41st precinct. All right, thank you very much. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn
Motion.
this meeting.
Okay, it was seconded by Cliff, so all those in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. And Reverend John, I hope you feel better.
And everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Happy holidays. Stay safe.
Happy holidays.
Thanks to everybody.
Ralph, give me 1 second.
I got you, Sam. Thank you.
Okay, I got it.
You said you coming?
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.